ESPN welcomes you to the following presentation of the National Football League.
Back in Houston, if you're watching on ABC, the Spanish version of this game is presented by ESPN Deportes. You can access it by using the SAP function on your remote control. Sellout crowd. Happy that the roof is closed here at Energy Stadium today. 40 degrees outside, unusually cold here in Houston, near record lows this morning of 20 degrees with the wind chill in the single digits, but comfy underneath the roof. And the Raiders and the Texans ready to get the playoffs started. Oakland won the toss and deferred, so Sebastian Janikowski kicks off. It is short and down to Akeem Hunt. Already a better start for Houston than a year ago against Kansas City when the Chiefs' Al Davis returned the opening kickoff against them for a touchdown. Brendan Trawick made the tackle for the Raiders. So here come the Texans, led by Brock Osweiler. 26-year-old from Montana, out of Arizona State. One of the tallest quarterbacks in NFL history at 6'8". On the ground with Lamar Miller, and he's ahead for 3. TJ Carey, the nickelback, made the tackle for Oakland. First career playoff start for Brock Osweiler. 4 years in Denver, mostly a backup there. 13-8 in the regular season. 8-6 this year as the starter in the first 14 games. Only Ryan Fitzpatrick of the Jets had a lower passer rating in the NFL regular season this year. Going to try to go at a quicker tempo today, and the pass incomplete, intended for Lamar Miller.
Well, this is where Brock Osweiler is most comfortable, in a no-huddle offense. He was a no-huddle quarterback in high school. He did it at Arizona State in college, and he had his most success in Denver. And they want to get the plays in quicker, give Osweiler more time at the line of scrimmage. Third down, this has been a slow-starting Texan offense.
Saw George Godsey, the offensive coordinator, who calls the plays in tandem with the head coach Bill O'Brien. It's a collaborative effort. Time for Osweiler. He's on target. Ryan Griffin, the tight end, with a first down out to the 39-yard line. Taken down by Malcolm Smith.
That's where they go a lot on third down. Right side of your screen. Griffin on an outside break beats Malcolm Smith. That's good accuracy. First down, Texans. Both of these tight ends, Fedorowicz and Griffin, with over 50 catches.
And they have 116 catches now in the tight end group. That's the franchise record. Lamar Miller runs to the 45-yard line. Tackled by Perry Riley, David Amerson. There's the offense that George Godsey is working with to start the game. Lamar Miller back in action after missing the last 2 weeks of the regular season with an ankle injury. He's still the 10th leading rusher in the NFL with more than 1,000 yards. Time again for Osweiler, and he's on target again to Ryan Griffin, the fourth-year tight end out of Connecticut. First down to the Oakland 42-yard line.
Those are two impressive throws by Brock Osweiler. Once again, it's Griffin crossing the field, and the protection holds up beautifully. Raiders lackluster last week in Denver, not off to a good start.
Blitz off the corner. Lamar and Miller taken down by the blitzing TJ Carey after a short gain to the 40-yard line. The Oakland defense, coordinated by Ken Norton Jr., got better as the season went along. The front bolstered by the return today of Stacy McGee, who hasn't played since late November with an ankle injury and a groin problem. And the star up front, the great Khalil Mack, going to the Pro Bowl for the second year in a row. Now in his third season out of the University at Buffalo. Osweiler, time, incomplete. Looking for Griffin with Malcolm Smith in coverage.
You see that a lot this year. Confusion. Osweiler, Griffin not on the same page. Ball could have been intercepted. Just so hot and cold. Osweiler and this Texan offense really struggles. I don't think they've scored an offensive touchdown, Sean, in the last 3 or 4 games. Important they get something early to get some momentum and get this crowd in the game.
9-7 on the year for Houston. The AFC South champions, tied with Tennessee, but won the tiebreaker with their 5-1 record in the division. They were 7-1 here at home this year. Here comes the blitz. Osweiler in trouble. Weaves his way through the traffic and gets spun down short of the first down by the Pro Bowl safety Reggie Nelson with help from Bruce Irvin.
Good call by Ken Norton. They bring both defenders. You see Irvin on one side. You're going to see Carey come off the other side. The Texans have struggled against the blitz miserably all season long. And here's Shane Lechler, a former Raider.
13 years a Raider. Now back in his home area in Houston with the Texans. One of the great punters in NFL history in his 17th year. And a good kick. Fair catch made by T.J. Carey just outside the 5-yard line. First chance for Connor Cook as a starter in the NFL after this. ESPN's NFL Wildcard is brought to you by GMC. We are professional grade. And by NFL.com/Pro Bowl on sale. Buy your tickets for the 2017 Pro Bowl in Orlando today. First possession on offense in this playoff game for Oakland. Connor Cook backed up at his own 7-yard line as he takes his first NFL snap as a starter.
Doesn't get any tougher than this.
Plenty of big game experience for Cook at Michigan State. They start with a running play and only a yard for Latavius Murray. One of 3 running backs we'll see today for Oakland. As we mentioned, Connor Cook, the first quarterback in the Super Bowl era to make his first NFL start in a playoff game. He did get valuable experience last week at Denver in the loss to the Broncos. Went 14 for 21. Threw an interception and fumbled twice. They recovered one of his fumbles, but they want him to be much better with the football today.
Here they come with the double A gap look.
They spread the field. Quick throw, batted out of the air by Jadeveon Clowney.
Clowney can ruin the game a lot of different ways. Tackles for loss, sacks, batted passes. He has been healthy this year. That's why he's a Pro Bowl player. What an impact he has had in the absence of J.J. Watt. 3rd down and 9, Sean. Be very careful. This is when Romeo Crennel revs them up. A lot of linebackers on the field with 6 defensive backs.
They'd like to bring the heat on Cook. That job perhaps made easier today without Donald Penn, the All-Pro, at left tackle. Play fake, swung out wide. Amari Cooper can't find any running room. A.J. Boye leading the fired-up Houston defense.
A.J. Boye, what a story he is. They have a lot of first-round draft choices on this Texan defense, but I still think the strength of this unit is the play of their corners.
We saw J.J. Watt played in just the first 3 games of the year. 3-time NFL Defensive Player of the Year, and even without him, Houston was the #1 defense in the league. Marquette King had a fantastic year as the Oakland punter, averaging 48.6 yards per punt, 2nd in the league behind Pat McAfee of Indianapolis. This wasn't his best. Out of bounds, shy of midfield on the Oakland sideline. He had 5 punts of more than 50 yards last week at Denver. This one 31 yards. The end zone seems to have been taped off for the Texans this season. There are 25 touchdowns this year, the fewest by a playoff team in the 16-game era, which started in 1978. Their 1.56 touchdowns per game is the lowest average by any playoff team in 82 years. Since the 1934 New York Football Giants averaged 1.38 touchdowns per game. Historically bad on offense, but riding the #1 defense in the league and solid special teams. They are the AFC South champions. Great field position for Osweiler. Quick pop. And then DeAndre Hopkins got popped by Reggie Nelson.
Reggie Nelson, what a player. They're blitzing more than I've seen the Raiders blitz all year. It's an overload blitz. It's going to come off the left side. They're one short. Osweiler throws it to his hot receiver, and Reggie Nelson's done it well for a long time.
Former Cincinnati Bengal 10-year veteran Lamar Miller taken down for a loss. Khalil Mack, not just a pass rusher, solid against the run as well.
Texans got to take advantage of this field position, Sean. Those are two poor plays. And on 3rd down and 8, will Ken Norton, the defensive coordinator of the Raiders, continue to blitz? Because Houston has been miserable solving it.
Target. Ryan Griffin again lunged for the first down, didn't get there. Good tackle by the rookie first-round pick out of West Virginia, Carl Joseph, who's back in action after missing the last 4 with a toe injury.
On 4th down, they're sending out Nick Novak. You just showed the stat. They don't score a lot of touchdowns. Thank goodness for Nick Novak. He has come in here, made 35 field goals, and this one of 50 yards is no gimme.
35 field goals is the Texans single season record. Not a record you want to set if you're the head coach. You want touchdowns. 3 out of 6 from 50 plus. This one exactly 50 yards. And heading right down the middle. And Houston is first on the board in this wild card playoff game with just under 8 minutes to go in the first quarter. Only Justin Tucker of Baltimore kicked more field goals in the regular season than Novak. Sean McDonough, John Gruden, Lisa Salters, Adam Schefter back in Houston, where the Texans have already scored more points than they did in last year's wild card playoff game against Kansas City when they were shut out 30-0. 3-0 Texans as Nick Novak gets ready to kick off. Jalen Richard, impressive rookie. We'll bring it back from the 5. Right up the numbers and blasted as he got to the 23-yard line by Akeem Hunt. As we mentioned on the first possession, plenty of big game experience for Connor Cook. Spent 5 years at Michigan State, the last 3 as the starter. 34-5, the most wins in school history. Threw for more than 9,000 yards through 71 touchdown passes. Twice the MVP of the Big Ten championship game. And he was the MVP of their Rose Bowl win in 2014 against Stanford. He's played in the 4-team college football playoff. That was last year against Alabama. Pressure in all those games. Pressure again today. You wonder how much more pressure there could be today than what he experienced in those games. He's a very confident young man from the Cleveland, Ohio area. Latavius Murray. They're trying to get the running game going. They couldn't do that in their win against the Texans in Mexico City when they rushed for just 30 yards on 20 carries. With the young quarterback, you'd want to get the running game there to help him.
No doubt it would help if he dropped back and be aggressive and throw the ball. Last week at Denver, they came out, ran the ball 4 straight times, had a false start, and then McGloin got crushed. They got to get this guy to drop back and rip it. Amari Cooper, Crabtree, they have 2 big-time receivers. Oakland's got to be more aggressive, I believe, to come out of here with a win.
Both receivers had 1,000 yards plus receiving in the regular season. 2nd and 9. Another conservative call. Richard in trouble and taken down from behind by Whitney Merciless.
He is a great player. He was our guest on the bus. He jumps off the screen every time I watch the Texans play. Number 59. He's playing middle linebacker. This is a defensive end. He runs Richard down like nothing. A lot of first-round picks on this Houston Texan defense, and Ex-Illinois Illini defensive end, plays everywhere for Houston.
And a terrific duo, Merciless and Clowney. 3rd down and 12. Cook, design roll out to the right. He threw it up for grabs, and it's fielded by Clowney, whose ankle tackled by Latavius Murray at the 9-yard line, and now flags thrown at the end of the play.
That man is showing the world why he was a #1 pick 3 years ago. It's a throwback screen. Connor Cook never saw Clowney.
Interception by Houston. After the play was over, dead ball. Personal foul and necessary roughness by the offense, number 71. Half the distance to the goal. Houston's ball, first down.
That's an unbelievable catch and concentration by Jadeveon Clowney, who sets up the Houston Texans with great field position.
A rocky start for Connor Cook. Menelik Watson the penalty. Clowney's first career interception in the NFL in his 3rd year, but he told us it's really his rookie year. Injuries derailed his first 2 seasons. Many were ready to pronounce that he was a bust as the #1 overall pick out of South Carolina in 2014. You don't hear anybody making that statement anymore. Can they punch it in from the 4? Lamar Miller, the lone back. Lamar Miller trying to get outside. Touchdown, Houston.
You have a #1 defense in the NFL. If you can play good offense, you can go a long way. You're going to see a reverse come over the top, and Lamar Miller goes the other way untouched. 4-6. Nice work by Fedorowicz at the point of attack, and Oakland is in real trouble.
One of the keys to Oakland's success this year, the turnover margin, plus 16 in the regular season, tied with Kansas City for best in the league. Both coaches talked about what should be a close game with offenses that might struggle with new quarterbacks who can't turn it over. And Oakland turns it over first against a Houston team that was -7 for Bill O'Brien in the regular season in turnover margin, despite this great defense. Clowney's had a great year, and Houston's off to a great start. Big play by Jadeveon Clowney. Spoke with him 2 days ago. He said it's hard not to get frustrated when the offense struggles all year long, but all we can do is continue to go out there, make big plays, be the best defense in the league, maybe even score on defense. They didn't quite do that, but they just about did. Nick Novak's kick down by Jalen Richard. And Oakland will start at the 25-yard line. Here comes the game record Clowney again.
Well, both of these bookend defensive ends, they got Whitney Merciless playing middle linebacker, and he can run down your running backs. And that puts you in a predictable screen situation. And Jadeveon Clowney shows great instincts and athletic ability. I love watching these two, man. It's incredible, the performance of Romeo Crennel, the defensive coordinator, and this defense in the absence of J.J. Watt. Astonishing to me.
So Connor Cook, known for his poise, that'll be tested early as Houston has scored 10 points in a span of 1 minute and 41 seconds. And it's been a very shaky start on offense. Even that gets juggled, but made by Crabtree. And he advances to the 44-yard line. Jonathan Joseph made the stop after a 19-yard gain.
That says a lot about Connor Cook. You throw an interception, you're down 10-0, play action pass, come up humming. That's a good throw. And if Crabtree keeps his feet, that might be a big game.
Crabtree has been prone to drop balls and nearly lost that one. First and 10 Oakland. Straight back again. Cook, and he didn't see the rush coming from behind. DJ Reader, the rookie out of Clemson, a 5th-round pick.
And all these Pro Bowl offensive linemen inside, and they're not playing well enough. Reader, number 98. He plays nose tackle. rookie out of Clemson. Off the left side, beat Manila Watson. Penetration inside. There's Reeder at right defensive end.
Oakland allowed only 18 sacks in the regular season. That was the fewest in the league, but they're without Donald Pennant, left tackle. Cook! Aaron throw. Closer to an interception in the completion to Crabtree. A.J. Boye feeling like he should have come up with that one. Here's the Raiders offense. 2 Pro Bowls players in the starting offensive line today. Would have been 3 if Penn could have gone at left tackle. But it's Watson there for Penn. Amari Cooper going to the Pro Bowl for the 2nd time in as many years, out of the University of Alabama. Of course, Derek Carr, their outstanding 3rd-year quarterback, out with a broken fibula, suffered in the 2nd to last game of the regular season against Indianapolis. On 3rd and 16, deep drop, plenty of time for Connor Cook on target. Is it a catch? No, say the officials. Crabtree thought he had it. What do you think, Coach? Well, he had his arms under it for a moment.
I think it's a catch. I'd challenge him.
And Jack Del Rio will. Ron Torbert is the referee today in the playoffs. These are the highest rated officials in the league at their respective positions. Here's Ron Torbert.
Oakland has challenged the ruling on the field of the previous play of an incomplete pass. We'll review the play. Timeout.
Jack Del Rio the challenge. Ruling on the field an incomplete pass. Here comes Ron Torbert.
After review, the ruling on the field is confirmed. It's an incomplete pass. The ball hit the ground before the runner secured control. It'll be Oakland's ball, 4th down. Oakland is charged with their first time out of the half and their first unsuccessful challenge.
I think it's the right call, Coach. The nose of the ball, they're hitting the ground while Crabtree's still trying to wrap his arms around it and gain possession. Well, there's Marquette King to punt. Led the NFL with 38 punts this year of 50 yards or more. The first one was a bit of a shank. This one's much more like it. Tyler Irvin lets it go over his head. Tywan Jones tried to rescue it. And the ball winds up in the end zone. Plenty of Raiders there, but they couldn't save it.
Great effort, golden opportunity, and 4 different Oakland Raiders with a chance to down this ball. You see the beautiful effort by Jones to give another teammate a chance. Holmes 18, Bates 56. You see McGill 39 slide into the end zone. No control. Obvious touchback.
I'm not sure Darren Bates, who was trying to help him, actually helped. So 62-yard punt, just the net of 42 for King. And the line of scrimmage, the 20 for Brock Osweiler in Houston, already leading 10-0. Deep handoff for Lamar Miller. He gets knocked down after a pickup of 3. Another tackle for Khalil Mack. And I saw you on our local ABC affiliate here, 13 Eyewitness News last night, and you talked about how you think the key to the game today is Lamar Miller.
I think the key to the Texans is Lamar Miller, Sean. He's a great back. He missed the last 2 weeks. He's been hurt, but if he can keep Brock Osweiler in some manageable down and distance with this defense, they're hard to beat.
Miller again. Well, when they got shut out in that playoff game last year, it wasn't just the new quarterback they brought in for George Godsey and Bill O'Brien. They wanted to get more speed all over the field. They brought over Lamar Miller from the Miami Dolphins, and he has had an excellent year. And Bill O'Brien can't say enough nice things about Miller on or off the field.
Well, let's see if Lamar is ready to pick up a blitz, because every 3rd down, Oakland has brought the heat.
5-man rush, knuckleball incomplete for C.J. Fedorowicz. He was looking for a flag. There is a flag at the 34-yard line. Not really all that close to where the ball wound up. Malcolm Smith had the coverage.
I think DeAndre Hopkins perhaps was held. He's looking for a call. You see Fedorowicz held by Malcolm Smith, and they may pick this one up.
Pass interference, offense number 87.
Whoa.
That penalty is declined. Result of the play is 4th down.
Wow. Bill O'Brien looking for an explanation, and
Yeah, I don't understand that one at all.
I don't either.
It looked like Malcolm Smith might have been guilty of holding if there was anything there. Shane Leckler punts. Houston, by the way, the least penalized team in the league in the regular season. And Oakland, the most penalized team. Richard comes off the big hit and keeps on going across midfield. And Leckler, the punter, shoves him out of bounds. Brennan Scarlett delivered a big hit but didn't wrap up and tackle him. And that turned into a disaster for the Texans.
Watch 57. Scarlett failed to wrap up, and what an effort by the undrafted rookie free agent out of Southern Miss. He sets Oakland up.
37-yard return of a 51-yard punt. The Pro Bowl is headed to Orlando. You can watch your favorite NFL stars compete in the 2017 Pro Bowl presented by Aquafina. With Celebration Entertainment, a return to the traditional AFC versus NFC format. You won't want to miss it. Tune in on Sunday, January 29th at 8 Eastern Time on ESPN. Check out the new Pro Bowl Skills Showdown on Thursday, January 26th at 7 p.m. Eastern on ESPN. Great field position for Oakland from the 38-yard line of Houston. And a big hole. Latavius Murray breaks the tackle of A.J. Boye. And he's chopped out of bounds by the safety, Quentin Demps, at the 20. Some poor tackling hurting Houston.
It's a nice cutback run. You're going to see on the left side of your screen, number 21, Boye, in position to make this one-on-one tackle. But Murray, who leads the Raiders with almost 800 yards, gashes them.
Oakland got quickly to the line. They stay with Murray. He spins his way inside the 15-yard line. Andre Hall, a safety, third-year man out of Vanderbilt, made the play for Houston.
Up-tempo with a rookie quarterback. How about this by Bill Musgrave, the offensive coordinator? First start ever in a playoff game. They're in a no-huddle offense, down 10 in the red zone. I love it.
On 2nd and 4, 5-man rush. They got it off quickly. Here's Walford, the tight end, with a first down inside the 10-yard line. Clive Walford with his 34th catch of the year.
Going quick. They're going to be in a check with me. They're letting Connor Cook assess the defense, and they give him a handful of plays. He'll choose one based on what he sees.
Murray. Inside the 5 and down at the 1-yard line.
They are massive at guard. Osemele at left guard, and Gabe Jackson, I call him BG, Big Gabe. This man is what you call a power offensive guard. They do an excellent job on these double teams, and they run right behind the push. 2nd down.
Gabe Jackson, 336 pounds. At right guard. It's a mammoth offensive line. Olawale, the fullback in the game, and Murray has a touchdown.
That's why they won 12 games. Run right behind Big Gabe. You got a fullback, Jamez Olawale. He's going to lead this kick-out block, and nobody touches Murray. He had 12 in the regular season, and Ronnie Hudson, number 61, proves why he's a Pro Bowl center.
Now 13 touchdowns total, all of them on the ground. Murray's been great when they get in close. 6 of those 12 touchdowns in the regular season came from the 1-yard line. This one from the 2. And Sebastian Janikowski for the extra point. 10-7. Houston the lead with just more than a minute to go in the first quarter. One of the keys for Oakland in the regular season, taking advantage of good field position. They did there for their first score today. Here's Alfred Blue bringing back the Janikowski kickoff, and only to the 18-yard line. Darren Bates made the tackle for Oakland. There's Tom Savage, who was their starting quarterback for Houston the last 2 games of the regular season, but he suffered a concussion and has been replaced by Brock Osweiler, as you can see, not even dressed today. The backup quarterback is Brandon Whedon, the veteran. Alfred Blue, the backup running back, trouble with the snap for Osweiler. And he used every bit of that 6'8" frame to get the ball back, despite the best efforts of Danico Autry to rip it away from him.
Take a look at it. You're 6'8". You got to get a little bit lower than everybody else, but like he pulled out of there early, and they are lucky to dodge a bullet there. Once again, a Raider blitz. I've seen more blitzes in the first quarter than I've seen from Oakland in the last month. Here's another one. Wow.
And Blue taken down to the line of scrimmage. Brendan Trawick, who was exclusively a special teams player until last week, made the tackle.
Oh, it's a strong safety blitz. You've got to see that. Change the play. Bring the receiver in motion, but you can't let a strong safety rock your back. Oakland's blitzing a lot. Bill O'Brien knows he's got to make some adjustments.
And Houston leads 10-7. The end of the first quarter here at NRG Stadium. Back in Houston at NRG Stadium, Houston Texans trying to become the first team to play in a Super Bowl game in their home stadium, leading 10-7 after the first quarter of this wild card game with Oakland. For Brock Osweiler, 3rd down and 12 as the second quarter begins. Will Fuller in a lot of trouble. No way was he going to get away from Khalil Mack.
Well, I've seen a lot of quick screens this week, and so has Khalil Mack. Ball comes out quick. That's called redirection and finish. Khalil Mack, what a player he is. He can diagnose plays, and he can make just about any play on a football field.
Jalen Richard back deep for the punt. This punt returned a momentum changer in this game. Here he comes again. Could not dance away from Corey Moore. But good field position again for Oakland from their own 43-yard line. Well, we've already seen the talents of Clowney and Mack. They were the first 2 defensive players taken in the 2014 draft. Khalil Mack, number 5 overall, twice a Pro Bowler. Clowney going to the Pro Bowl for the first time this year. And the stats more impressive for Mack because he's played more games as Clowney's battled injuries over his first 2 years. Did not play in their playoff loss here to Kansas City a year ago. Mack playing in his first playoff game. The same is true of many of these Oakland Raiders. Playing a playoff game for the first time since the Super Bowl in 2003. Connor Cook on target. Michael Crabtree ridden down in Houston territory at the 43 by Jonathan Joseph.
And you see the quickness of Connor Cook. Watch him come right out of this play action pass, flip his head and get this ball out of his hand with excellent location. I like that call on first down.
14-yard gain. Back to the run with Murray, and he could not get away from Jadeveon Clowney. A pickup of 2.
Raiders have 3 distinctly different backs. You're going to see them all within the same possession. Right now, the lead horse is Murray, who leads the Raiders with 12 touchdowns in a regular season, but they have 2 great change of pace backs, Richard and Washington.
And Murray was a 1,000-yard rusher a year ago, less than that this year, and there's a drop. We talked about it a moment ago. That's now 12 drops this season. He had 11 in the regular season, which led the league.
Well, he had 1,000 yards receiving, but you're right, Sean. These are balls you have to catch. And on 3rd down and 9, I'll be very surprised if the Texans don't bring the blitz.
Oakland as a team had 38 drops in the regular season, tying the Jets for the most drops of on-target passes in the NFL. On 3rd and 9, Connor Cook with time, lofts one up for grabs, lucky to get away with that. Jonathan Joseph had a better opportunity than did Amari Cooper.
Man, I like Joseph. He's an 11-year veteran. 5 in Cincinnati, 6 here in Houston, and you don't want to mess around on an outside breaking route if you don't see the throw. That time, Cook is lucky he overthrew Amari Cooper.
Tyler Irvin back deep for the punt from Marquette King. Irvin, a rookie out of San Jose State. King angling for the corner. Great work this time by the punt coverage team. Andre Holmes able to keep it in play, and the ball will be marked at the 5-yard line. 37-yard punt. Holmes saved it. DeAndre Washington able to smother. ESPN's NFL Wildcard is brought to you by Ford F-Series, the best-selling trucks for 40 straight years. And by ESPNShop.com, powered by Dick's Sporting Goods. The Raiders and Texans have never met in the playoffs, but Oakland and Houston battled when the Houston team was the Oilers in a wild-card playoff game. 1980, Jim Plunkett led Oakland to victory against the former Raider quarterback, now Hall of Famer, the late great Kenny Stabler, was traded to the Oilers before the season. 27-7 was the final for Oakland. From their own 5, Osweiler out of the end zone. Complete pass. C.J. Fedorowicz, the tight end out of Iowa, out to the 24-yard line. Good play out of the shadow of their own end zone.
And you see where Brock Osweiler is most comfortable. You would think against the blitz he would be looking for DeAndre Hopkins, his great wide receiver, but he is most comfortable in the middle of the field working Fedorowicz, who has really exploded onto the scene this year as a receiver.
18-yard gain on the completion to Fedorowicz. They popped the quick run with Lamar Miller sliding forward to the 29. Pickup of 6.
Well, they got to get this man involved in the game. His production way down this year. A lot of interceptions thrown targeting Hopkins.
Miller bounces off the pile, got away from Khalil Mack among others. Some poor tackling on both sides, a factor here in the first half. Reggie Nelson finally chased Miller out of bounds, but he got almost to midfield to the Houston 48.
Great running instincts. He keeps his feet alive. There's nothing there. He bounces it back. And Lamar Miller, a top 10 rusher in pro football, has become a workhorse. Seldom used in Miami. He really enjoys that role.
Play fake. Osweiler over the middle and caught by Fedorowicz to the Oakland 35. Taken down by Carl Joseph, and Houston impressively on the move.
Certainly are. It's a trap pass on 1st down, and Osweiler is feeling it. Fedorowicz against the rookie Joseph on a square in. Ball thrown perfectly. Good pass protection. Here comes Osweiler into no-huddle offense.
Leaning heavily on the tight ends, as he did all season long. And he struggled to get it to DeAndre Hopkins. On the draw, Miller down for a loss, smothered by Malcolm Smith.
Malcolm Smith, Super Bowl 48 MVP of the Seahawks. One thing the Raiders have done is they brought in a lot of veteran players with a pedigree. Ken Norton came over from Seattle. He brought Bruce Irvin, number 51, premier rusher. Malcolm Smith, their leading tackler. You look in the back end, Reggie Nelson. Been in the playoffs a lot with Cincinnati and Jacksonville. And they know what's at stake. And this is going to get real interesting as the game unfolds.
Second and 12. They bring up blitz. Osweiler got it off. There is Hopkins with some running room. And he slides down with a first down at the 24.
Another blitz. And when you bring the house, the ball's going to come out quick. 29 Amerson falls down. And DeAndre Hopkins, who had a great run after the catch last week against Tennessee, gets a first down. Crowd thought that was an illegal hit.
Houston impressively on the move. Drive started at their own 5. They're the only team in the league in the regular season that did not score a single point on any possession that started inside their own 10. No touchdowns, no field goals, and no complete pass there for Hopkins, with David Amerson in coverage. Well, Osweiler, as John said, struggled to connect with Hopkins all season long. He threw 9 interceptions when targeting DeAndre Hopkins. Tied for the most in the league. Phillip Rivers threw 9 when trying to get the ball to Tyrell Williams in San Diego. Completion percentage, touchdown interception ratio, passing rating, all better when he's trying to throw the ball to anybody else but Hopkins. Blue in for Miller. Surge down near the 20.
And it's time for the Oakland Raiders to find an inside pass rush. We can talk about Mack and Irvin all we want. The Raiders have got to find an inside pass rush and go after the right guard of the Texan. Allen has been injured. He has struggled. Whether it's Danico Autry, Mario Edwards right now, somebody has to win at right guard.
Jonathan Grimes in at running back, perhaps to stay in and block. No, he goes out immediately in the flat. It's intended for Fedorowicz and deflected up in the air. Malcolm Smith again in coverage. He's had regular duty on Fedorowicz here in the first half.
Malcolm Smith, every down linebacker, makes a lot of plays. Here he is in one-on-one coverage. Nice work. And here's Novak.
Novak 1 for 1 today from 50. This one's a 38-yarder from the left hash mark. Terrific season for the 9th-year kicker out of the University of Maryland. Good penetration there by Oakland, but they didn't get it, and the kick is good just inside the right upright. Well, the first point scored all season long by Houston on a drive that started inside their own 10-yard line. Been a remarkable year for the Houston defense, #1 in the league, despite the fact they played all but 3 games without J.J. Watt, 3 times the NFL Defensive Player of the Year. Out after surgery on his back, but here today as a spirited cheerleader and liking what he has seen so far. Houston leading 13-7 as Nick Novak kicks off. It is muffed by Jalen Richard. Picked up by Tywan Jones. Well, that worked out better than they could have hoped. Jonathan Grimes runs down Jones across the 27-yard line. Let's check in with Lisa Salters.
Hey, Sean. Well, remember, we saw J.J. Watt working out on the side during practice this week. He looked pretty good. He was telling me that his last doctor appointment was on Wednesday in Los Angeles, and he was actually cleared at that appointment for football activity. So if he wasn't on IR, he could have potentially played this weekend. But he said the key to doing it this time, the rehab, was doing it right, not doing it fast. Remember, the surgery in September was the second he'd had in 3 months.
All right, Lisa, thank you. There's Connor Cook under center. Murray to the 30 before he's driven back, led by Christian Covington, second-year defensive end out of Rice here in Houston.
Christian Covington, number 95. DJ Reader, number 98. Got to play with great leverage against this massive offensive line of the Raiders. And Vince Wilfork, the 35-year-old veteran, has been quite a mentor. Let's see what Connor Cook has on 2nd and long.
What Wilfork told us in Mexico City before the game in the regular season between these two, he said even when we have J.J. Watt, Jadeveon Clowney's our best player. Cook, well protected, throws, almost intercepted. It was a wobbly pass intended for Michael Crabtree. But again, it was the Houston defender who had the best chance, A.J. Boye.
Boye has been an outstanding player for the Texans. He came in here with 16 passes defense, almost 50 solo tackles. They lost Kevin Johnson, their first round corner, early in the season, and boy has Boye stepped up.
Connor Cook, 1 out of 4 on third down, 4 for 11 for the game. Third down and 8. Cook steps into the throw, batted down by Jonathan Joseph, thrown for Amari Cooper.
I think the strength of the Texans is in their secondary. You just saw Boye. It's the second time we've seen Jonathan Joseph take out Amari Cooper. One-on-one coverage, it's good pass protection.
Houston gets the 3 and out without their outstanding safety Quinton Demps, sidelined with a hamstring injury. His return a question mark. He had 6 interceptions to lead all safeties in the regular season. Marquette King, Tyler Irvin had 5 kickoff and punt returns for touchdowns at San Jose State, taken down by Taiwan Jones. NFL playoffs getting started today. The college football season concluding Monday night at 8 Eastern time on ESPN with the College Football Playoff National Championship game. A rematch of a terrific game a year ago. Clemson and Alabama from Tampa. Game streaming live on Watch ESPN, the ESPN app, also on ESPN Radio. Lamar Miller on first down for Houston. A yard or two before he's driven back by Khalil Mack, having a monstrous first half for Oakland.
I want to see Brock Osweiler take over. I've heard all the criticism about the accuracy, the decision making, not scoring enough points, the big contract he signed. You're in the playoffs, you have a 3-point lead at home. This is what he's brought here to do.
5 tackles already for Mack. With 7 minutes to go in the half. Osweiler with time, incomplete for Hopkins. Crowd thought that T.J. Carey was holding. There is no flag. Well, they were excited when they brought Brock Osweiler here, but the Brock market had been trending downward since the season started. They gave him a 4-year, $72 million contract, 37 of that guaranteed, 16 of that due next season, and then the guaranteed part is over. So he's likely back for another year, but Bill O'Brien admitted their quarterback situation, which they hope had been solved after plenty of revolving door action the last couple of years, is still up in the air going forward. Osweiler throws under pressure, flag down, ball thrown for Will Fuller. Not sure it was catchable. David Amerson had the coverage.
Well, Lamar Miller just got run over by a blitz.
Before the pass was thrown, holding. Defense number 29, 5-yard penalty, automatic first down.
Amerson called for the penalty. Houston has just got to do a better job. You can criticize the quarterback all you want because that comes with the territory, but they've got to pick up blitzes better up front and help them.
It is not one of the best offensive lines in the league in front of him. That's for sure. And Osweiler's talked about the complexity of the offense. Miller in trouble and taken down. Brendan Trawick, what a story he is. Was just exclusively a special teams player, but then last week they lost Nate Allen, a safety with concussion. Trawick came in, made 9 tackles.
Well, somebody needs to tell Brock Osweiler that they're bringing a lot of strong safety blitzes. That's the 3rd time they've run right into Trawick. He'll be in the Hall of Fame if that continues.
4th year out of Troy. Loss of 7. 2nd and 17. Osweiler. Hopkins out of bounds. 32-yard line, shoved out by T.J. Carey, but he is 6 yards short of a first down after a gain of 11.
I think Bill O'Brien's going to go to Hopkins a lot for the rest of this game. They're putting him in the slot more this year than I've seen before, and without Hopkins, I haven't seen another Texan receiver step up in quite some time.
3 catches on 5 targets for Hopkins. Steven Anderson, the tight end, told to go ahead in motion by Osweiler. Now he pulls it down and runs. He's a good athlete, and he has a first down. He was a recruited basketball player out of high school in Montana. Had a scholarship offer from Gonzaga, but elected to play football instead at Arizona State.
Well, it's another blitz, and sometimes you don't account for the quarterback. Good decisiveness for Osweiler, and a big first down.
He ran for 13 first downs in the regular season, so he can do that. He just picked up another here in the postseason with a 12-yard run. And the drive continues from the 44. The draw for Lamar Miller across the 47-yard line, taken down by the former Washington Redskin Perry Riley, who's had a productive first year in Oakland.
And you look out there right now, number 47, James Cowser, rookie, has checked into the game. Bruce Irvin on the sideline, and Irvin's leaving to get checked out, and what an opportunity to throw the football with Irvin not in the lineup.
He was tremendous in Oakland's 27-20 come-from-behind win in Mexico City on a Monday night in mid-November. Miller again to the 50-yard line. As a matter of fact, when we visited with Bruce Irvin yesterday, he said it was one of the best games of his career. Let's see if we can find out what happened to number 51.
Let's take a look at him. It was
That'd be a hamstring pull.
that right hamstring, and that is not a good sign.
So it's Cowser, the rookie out of Southern Utah, undrafted. He's seen more and more playing time in recent weeks. Had 3 tackles last week in the loss at Denver, which cost Oakland the division title in a first-round bye. Donovan Grimes, very conservative and interesting play call. On third down, the fans are booing it. You go to Grimes on a run. He's carried now just 24 times all season long.
Well, it's 3rd and 4. You have Bruce Irvin not in a game. You have an opportunity to get something before the half. I'm surprised by that call.
So now Shane Leckler. Only Jeff Fiegels and Sean Landette have punted more often than Leckler in the National Football League. 1,354 career punts. There is a flag down. The ball went out of bounds at the 11-yard line.
That'll be against Houston, and I expect Oakland to decline this one. Very surprising call, though, Sean, on 3rd down and medium with that field position.
And to give it to Grimes, really is their 3rd running back.
Try to get to the bottom of this one.
Yeah, it's taking Ron Torbert and his crew a little while here to sort it out. So you mentioned these are highly rated officials at each position, but they're not working as a crew with the crew they worked with in the regular season.
There were fouls by both teams during the play. Illegal shift by the offense. Number 20 never got set before the snap. During the kick, holding by the return team, number 23. Those fouls offset. Will replay 4th down.
I know this punter, Sean.
Yes, you do.
Go way back with this punter. 2000, we drafted him in the 5th round out of Texas A&M. I don't measure his punts in distance. I measure them now in miles. He's punted for over 36 miles, and this man can throw. And I know they have a couple gadgets. I would see one now, but keep an eye on this man throughout the rest of the day.
There's the yardage and field position if you're inclined to fake it. You do it there. He punts it, and it goes into the end zone. So it'll come out to the 20. A redo cost Houston 9 yards of field position. Well, some old friends for John Gruden on either sideline. Sebastian Janikowski, first-round pick by the Raiders in the year 2000 out of Florida State. He's now played in 268 games as a Raider, the franchise record. Shane Leckler was a fifth-round pick, spent 13 seasons with the Raiders. They were together 13 years in Oakland. That was the longest time that a punter and place kicker have spent together consecutively in the NFL. And there were a couple of characters. There's still a couple of characters. I know you enjoyed the chance to visit with each of them this weekend.
Yeah, I wanted to take Sylvester Morris in the first round. Fortunately, Al Davis was in charge, so we took Janikowski, who potentially might be a Hall of Fame kicker. But I took Janikowski first round. We got Leckler in the fifth round. I tell those guys it's too bad we didn't have a sixth round, because we would have had Tom Brady. We took two kickers instead of Tom Brady. That's why I'm no longer in this business.
You were a little surprised, I think, weren't you, when Al Davis told you he was going to
I was surprised,
take a kicker in the first round as you were just basically starting your time as Raiders head coach?
Those two men tormented me a lot early in their careers. There's Mark Davis. What a job he's done, taking over for the great Al Davis and bringing back the Oakland Raiders.
Around the time Mark took over the team after the death of his dad, Mark's now 61 years old, the Raiders were really a mess. Bad team, salary cap issues, and he and Reggie McKenzie have worked together to change that completely. DeAndre Washington taken down for a loss as we're approaching the 2-minute warning. Brian Cushing, Whitney Merciless made the stop, and a timeout. That was a Houston timeout with 2:42 to go. They want to get the ball back from the rookie quarterback, Connor Cook. Bill O'Brien showing faith in that top-ranked defense.
There they come with a lot of disguises. Watch the center, Rodney Hudson, and his rookie quarterback try to solve this mystery in the noise backed up.
See Eddie Pleasant, backup safety on the field. They're still without Quentin Demps. Cook, lots of time, now running out of time and nearly threw an interception off the hands of Andre Hal.
A lot of movement on this defense. Disguises. And the young quarterback never sees Andre Hal. Who's rushing? Who's dropping? Hal came from the left side of the screen, and he read Connor Cook like a book. Should have intercepted it.
There's Marquette King on 4th down and 8. Fifth year out of Fort Valley State, where he started as a wide receiver. But the coaches there told him, if you don't learn how to punt, you're going to lose your scholarship because you're not a good enough wide receiver. They needed a punter. He's become one of the best in the NFL. That, again, wasn't his best. Victimized by a bad bounce. Andre Holmes, again, down there to cover it for Oakland. So the other wild card game in the AFC is tomorrow, the Dolphins and the Steelers. So if the Steelers win, the winner of this game will go to Foxborough next week to take on the #1 seed, the Patriots. But the Dolphins knocked off the Steelers in the regular season.
I just want to see if they have any confidence in Brock Osweiler. This is tough on Bill O'Brien. Clearly, he doesn't have a lot of confidence in this pass offense. Let's see if he does here in a 2 minutes, Sean.
And you can understand why he wouldn't. Osweiler threw more interceptions than touchdowns. Now that's a beauty. And I think that's the thing that drives you crazy, in all honesty, if you're Bill O'Brien, because you see it in flashes, and that's why they brought him here. But you see way too many that don't look anything like this strike to Fuller.
Well, while they're here in the playoffs, they're going to have to take some chances if they want to continue. What a throw by Osweiler.
They get it off before the 2-minute warning. No. 19-yard completion to the rookie out of Notre Dame and a first-round pick, Will Fuller. 13-7 Houston, and they're in Oakland territory again. The NFL's Head Health Initiative The league continuing to find ways to improve the detection and prevention of brain injuries. There's some promising technology on the way, it seems. Texans in Oakland territory for the 5th time in 7 possessions. Brock Osweiler throwing a deep ball, and it is caught! DeAndre Hopkins with the grab inside the 5-yard line with David Amerson in coverage.
That's a great throw to Hopkins, who gets unbelievable separation right at the end of that route against Emerson. That ball was thrown perfectly. Credit Dwayne Brown, their Pro Bowl left tackle, with picking up the blitz.
The question I would have is, did they get 2 feet in? You see they want Oakland to throw the challenge flag. We're inside of 2 minutes and a half. Yeah, he got 2 feet in.
No question about that. Osweiler has struggled with the deep ball. I could show you film of long passes all year landing 4 or 5 yards off the field of play. That time, with the blitz on, Osweiler makes one of the throws of his Houston Texan career.
And those are the flashes that you see from him that give you hope. And then, as you said, you see the throws that you just can't believe how wildly inaccurate that they are.
Well, he hit Hopkins last week on the left side on a similar pass, and Osweiler, after being benched, Sean, is just more calm. He just seems like he learned a lot by sitting down and watching. Let's see if they can finish the drive. This is an area where they have struggled the most.
And their only touchdown of the half was set up by an interception by Jadeveon Clowney. They had to go only 4 yards for the touchdown. They have 2 field goals. Trying to score another touchdown. Lamar Miller slipped as he made his cut. He's down at the 3.
And will Jack Del Rio use a timeout to give his offense a crack at it? George Godsey likes to use some spread formations, and Hopkins, a man they have isolated several times at the top of the screen, will get a look if it's one-on-one coverage.
To the fake, another great throw by Osweiler. Hopkins targeted regularly today, and that connection is clicking at long last for Houston. It's 19-7.
That's what it's supposed to look like. You have a running play called with a built-in pass option, and Osweiler saw it all the way. He's going to see the free safety blitz, and he sees one-on-one coverage, and he rips the Raiders. That's a great job on the release by Hopkins. Can't throw the ball much better than Osweiler did in that 2-minute drill. Good for Brock Osweiler. All the criticism that he has taken. That's quite a drive.
Well, as Lisa said, he hasn't lost faith in himself. Called himself Positive Pete when we met with him on Thursday. Nick Novak adds the extra point. So Hopkins with 5 catches for 67 yards and a touchdown. And the Houston offense, this is an explosion for them. They average 17.4 points per game in the regular season, 28th in the league. They've already surpassed that with 20 points in the first half on 12 out of 18 for Osweiler. And not only did he lose his job to Savage, but then Savage got hurt with a concussion. They examined him. They didn't think he had a concussion, so they put him back in. So he really got benched twice. And there were reports that Osweiler and Bill O'Brien at the half of their last game at Tennessee had a heated exchange in the locker room. That's not surprising if you know Bill O'Brien. And we asked Bill about it. He said, yeah, it's football. You have a lot of animated conversations. It's high energy. It's high intensity. It's emotional. And
I credit Bill O'Brien, Sean. I really do. I've been in his position before. I used to change quarterbacks about every week. It's tough. And he holds every man on this Texan roster accountable, including his quarterback. And it's been tough on Osweiler. They've had a revolving door on the offensive line. They've had some injuries to Lamar Miller. He's learning a new offense. And don't forget, this is his first full year in the NFL as a starter. It's not like he's some 10-year vet. Nice work by the two of them.
We've had only 7 career starts in 4 years in Denver. And all 7 came last year. When Peyton Manning was out, he went 5-2. Novak's kickoff brought back by Jalen Richard. Brian Peters made the tackle. Well, Bill O'Brien's had more quarterbacks since he got here in 2014 than any other team in the NFL. 8 different starters. 2 of them this year. Osweiler for the first 14 games, and then Savage the last 2 before he went out with a concussion. Ryan Fitzpatrick, Ryan Mallett, Case Keenum, Brian Hoyer, T.J. Yates, Brandon Whedon, Osweiler, and Savage. They became the first team in the history of the league to make the playoffs in a year when 4 different quarterbacks won a game. That was last season for the owner, Bob McNair. How will Oakland play it with the rookie making his first start? Cook trying to set up a screen, and Clowney almost knocked the ball out of his hands before he could throw it. If he was there a fraction sooner, it might have been another turnover.
Don't hold the ball on a screen pass. This is a screen pass, and you got to get the ball out of your hand quickly. Do not hold it. Got to be real careful here if you're Oakland, and you have to wonder, Sean, down 13. Does Jack Del Rio look to Matt McGloin, who understands this offense? That's something I would strongly consider at the break. He's healthy enough to dress. He understands this offense. They're going to need some inventory to overcome this.
McGloin was the number 2 all year behind Derek Carr, then started last week at Denver before he got injured. Murray got knocked back, and it's a loss. We'll see where they mark it. They're going to give him advancement to the 17-yard line. Antonio Smith, part of that deep defensive front near Jadeveon Clowney.
It's just a stunt on the inside, and this is the number 1 defense in pro football for a lot of reasons, but at the top of the list is Jadeveon Clowney. What a comeback he has been this year after 2 years of serious injury.
I don't think you can give enough credit to that man. Romeo Crennel, now 69 years old, 34th year coaching in the NFL. The last 14 is either a head coach in Cleveland and Kansas City or a defensive coordinator. He's coached in 6 Super Bowls. He's been on staffs that have won 5, 3 in New England, 2 with the New York Giants. One of the great defensive minds in the NFL for a long time, and his defense has held Oakland to 64 yards.
Are they blitzing or are they bluffing? You figure it out.
Clowney again lined up near that new left tackle Watson. They run inside away from Clowney. Murray, a tough run, but he's down well short of the first down. Kareem Jackson made the stop at the 28-yard line. Houston does not have a timeout. There is an injured player, and it's Rodney Hudson, the center. Second year in Oakland after 4 in Kansas City. Came over as a high-priced free agent, and he is a very important member of this Oakland team. Does a great job helping set the protections. That's particularly important today without Derek Carr, who's great at the line of scrimmage. Cook has no experience.
You see Donald Penn, their Pro Bowl left tackle, wearing a hat. He's out today, and
they just rolled up accidentally Eddie Pleasant on the back of the leg of Hudson. Oakland spends more money on its offensive line than any team in the league. $37.7 million going to the offensive linemen in Oakland's cap space, most in the league. Coming up on the Toyota halftime, the breakdown of the first half between the Raiders and the Houston Texans as the playoffs have started. Later today, the Lions and the Seahawks from Seattle. We'll get a preview. Already the 6th punt of the half for Marquette King. Merciless got close to him. It's still a good punt. Tyler Urban tackled at the 35. It looks like Houston is certainly going to have the lead at the half, and they haven't lost in 3 years under Bill O'Brien when leading at halftime. 18-0. They're the only team in the National Football League since 2014 that hasn't squandered at least one halftime lead.
Well, that injury to Hudson was like giving Houston a timeout with 42 seconds. Do you risk it, Sean, or would you be conservative and go to the locker room up 13?
Well, they're encouraged by what you've seen from Osweiler, and you have good field position, but I think the one thing you don't want with momentum on your side is the critical mistake. Flag down. Thrown in the area you'd expect holding. And Osweiler runs out of bounds near the line of scrimmage.
That'll be coming back.
Holding. Offense number 74. 10-yard penalty. Replay, first down.
Chris Clark at right tackle. Holding Khalil Mack on an inside move. And I like when you're the analyst, Sean. I ask you what to do. I think
Would
that's
you agree, though? I don't know.
I would be very careful here. Up 13. I feel good. I'm going up against a third-string quarterback. I'm 18-0 at home. You got momentum. I'd be real careful. He's just going to take a knee.
Yeah, I think that's wise. I mean, this is an offensive explosion for Houston relative to the way the regular season went. That penalty was the first accepted penalty against Houston. It made Bill O'Brien's decision to take a knee a lot easier. So shaky quarterback situations on both sides. Osweiler was certainly better than Connor Cook, who went 4 for 14 in the first half for 41 yards and an interception. 20-7, Houston over Oakland at the half. Oakland gets the ball to start the second half, but now here's Chris Berman with the Toyota halftime. The NFL playoffs underway here in Houston. A month from now, we'll host Super Bowl 51. Texans hoping to be the first Super Bowl team to play in their home stadium. A lot of work to do, including today, but a terrific start today. They're ahead of Oakland 20-7. Coach, when we started, the big question was the unsettled quarterback situations for both teams. Which guy might perform better than the other, and clearly Osweiler was a lot better than Cook in the first half.
As he should. This is really going to be tough sledding for this young quarterback. Third-string quarterback, very few reps, but you had the Brock meter early. How about this 2-minute drive before the half? A beautiful throw to Fuller. He goes downtown to DeAndre Hopkins. Then he reads a free safety blitz, and he stings the Raiders to put Houston up 13. And Connor Cook, 0 for 7 on third down, interception on a screen. He never saw Jadeveon Clowney. And Menelik Watson pressed into service at left tackle, struggling. Late down the middle, should have been picked. Matt McGloin must really be injured, Sean. It looks like they're going to stay with Cook, but this is a very, very tough task for a rookie that's never played.
And playing without Donald Penn, the left tackle, who started 156 straight games. Oakland's the first team in the Super Bowl era to start a playoff game without two offensive starters who were voted to the Pro Bowl that year. And perhaps additional concerns as well about Rodney Hudson, the Pro Bowl safety. Let's check in with Adam Schefter.
Thanks very much, Sean. Jack Del Rio, the Raiders coach, said that Connor Cook had a quote-unquote rough go of it in the first half, but then again, so did the entire team. He did not rule out going to Matt McGloin in the second half, but he said he wanted to talk about it with the rest of his coaching staff. Matt McGloin has not been told anything about coming into this game yet. Connor Cook is starting, and Rodney Hudson, who was carted off with an ankle injury, is now getting x-rays. John Feliciano replacing him at center. Sean?
Wow, two Pro Bowl offensive linemen out now, and their Pro Bowl quarterback, Derek Carr. And there's Brian Cushing to take down Latavius Murray on the first play from scrimmage of the second half.
Cushing was here last year when they lost 30-0, and he runs right through a gap and stuffs Murray. The Texans have had all year to think about that 30-0 thrashing, and Cushing, still the heart and soul of this Texan defense, is going to make sure that they get out of here with a win today.
In his 8th year out of USC, Bill O'Brien calls Cushing the heart and soul of that Texans defense. Overcome a lot of injuries throughout the years to be their all-time leading tackle. Four-man rush after Connor Cook. Hit as he throws, and it's off the hands of Seth Roberts. Clowney putting the pressure on Cook. There is a flag down on the play.
Menelik Watson really struggling at left tackle. Going to be against Houston.
Before the pass was thrown, illegal contact. Defense number 25. 5-yard penalty from the previous spot. Automatic first down.
Kareem Jackson, 7th-year corner out of Alabama. Veteran corners. Joseph's in his 11th year on the other side.
This Clowney is, you know, if you put Khalil Mack on the board again with Clowney, I know a lot of people in the league that would take Clowney ahead of Mack again. That's how good Clowney has played this season. And clearly the Raiders missed their Pro Bowl left tackle, Donald Penn. And if I'm Romeo Crennel, I'm going to keep Clowney over there against Watson as much as I can.
He hasn't played at all on the left side. Watson has been in and out of the starting lineup at a right tackle. Basically split that duty this year with Austin Howard, who is the right tackle today. But the Pro Bowl center now out, Rodney Hudson, in addition to Penn, who didn't even dress. Cook, after the play fake, floats one. It's behind Roberts with Andre Howell, the safety, in coverage.
And you see the timing, the lack of rhythm, the frustration on Jack Del Rio's face, and it's understandable. And when you're a third-string quarterback, you don't get a few reps, you get no reps, Sean. And it's impossible to think that they can go much longer without giving Matt McGloin the ball.
If you're Jack Del Rio, do you worry about your team's belief? I mean, you were dreadful last week against Denver in a game you had a chance to win your division and get a bye, and you're dreadful again today.
No question. And when you look at the key players he's missing, you can see why they are struggling.
Cook is 0 for his last 7, and Oakland's 0 for 7 on 3rd down in the game. This is 2nd down and now longer.
Ball start. Offense, number 88. 5-yard penalty. 2nd down.
By Walford. Well, Oakland led the league with 7 players selected for the Pro Bowl, and they're without 3 of them today. That's hard to overcome no matter how good the rest of your team is. Carr out with the broken fibula on Christmas Eve. Some question why he was in the game with a 19-point lead in the 4th quarter against Indianapolis. But Jack Del Rio was concerned that Andrew Luck was capable of bringing Indianapolis back, and that was an important game trying to win the division for Oakland. Cook swung down by Whitney Merciless.
That's what they do. They double team Clowney, and Whitney Merciless kills you. They put Denver Kirkland, an extra offensive lineman, over there on Clowney. So they're going to take Clowney out of it, and meanwhile, Whitney Merciless beats Austin Howard. It's a dynamic duo. They have 2 bookend rushers, and what will happen when J.J. Watt does come back? I'll buy season tickets. Watch this defense, Sean. The disguise, they're 0 for 7 on 3rd down. They've confused this young quarterback all day.
This is 3rd and 21. They said they had to run the ball today. Oakland has 38 yards rushing. Lob to Latavius Murray with a lot of work to do, and he's taken down by a host of Texans led by Benardrick McKinney and Kareem Jackson.
Well, you forget Benardrick McKinney is 6'4", 260 pounds. Far and away the leading tackler of the Texans. That was quite a collision, and right now Houston looking for the knockout punch.
The 7th punt of the game for Marquette King. He's been busy, punted 8 times in that loss against Denver. They scored just 6 points last week against the Broncos, and they have just 7 today. And the 7 came on a short field, set up by a punt return. There's a muff, and Irvin did well. Tyler did to get back on it. With Andre Holmes, who comes charging down there on punt coverage every time, ready to scoop it up if Irvin didn't gather it back in. Flag down.
During the kick, holding number 50 of the return team. That 10-yard penalty is assessed from the end of the kick. It's Houston's ball, 1st down. Timeout.
The coach on that Oakland sideline back to the drawing board with Connor Cook. 20-7 Houston, early 3rd quarter. ESPN's NFL Wildcard is brought to you by Toyota. Let's go places. And by Burger King. Try the $3.99 Whopper Jr. deal only. McDonough, John Gruden, Lisa Salters, Adam Schefter. Delighted to have you with us as the playoffs are underway. Houston the ball and a 13-point lead. Lamar Miller carries for 2. Here's Lisa. Apparently problems with Lisa's microphone. We'll get to her as soon as we can. Stacey McGee made the tackle on Lamar Miller. Well, they went up to the line quickly in the first half, and now it looks like with this 13-point lead, they're going to go a bit more slowly. Jay Prosch, the fullback, in, part of the I formation. And 2 tight ends in the game as well. Miller taken down by Dan Williams. 2 more yards on the run for Houston.
The Raiders had 30 takeaways coming in to this game, and they were plus 16 on the turnover ledger. They're going to have to steal the football a time or two to have a chance, and I expect Ken Norton Jr., the defensive coordinator, to get after Osweiler.
Both coaches said the turnovers would be key. There's been only one, the interception thrown by Cook, but it led to a very short field, a 4-yard touchdown drive for Houston after Clowney had the pick. That throw high and incomplete. T.J. Carey in coverage on Will Fuller. A 3-and-out.
That's all you can do. You bring Perry Riley Jr. on a middle linebacker blitz with a stunt. Force a quick inaccurate throw, and here's Richard, the man that doomed Houston in our game on Monday night in Mexico.
Well, Oakland came from behind to win that game after they had just 130 yards of offense entering the 4th quarter at Azteca Stadium. Here's Richard, another big punt return. And he's across midfield before he's tripped up by Steven Anderson. Rookie tight end out of Cal on the tackle for Houston. Can they capitalize on good field position? Texans defense terrific all season, and again today. So far they've given up just 7 points, 79 yards to Oakland. They've sacked Connor Cook twice, and the interception by Devion Clowney in the middle of that picture set up a Houston touchdown. Raiders have not converted on 3rd down. Oakland in the top 7 in the league in the regular season in scoring, rushing, and total offense, but most of that resume built with Derek Carr at quarterback. Cook's throw low. Still a nice catch by Richard, who's been the best player for Oakland today.
Well, that's the matchup they want. They want Richard against McKinney. They did that in Mexico City, and Richard won Oakland the football game. But you have to give this man the football where he can run with it.
They absolutely ripped Houston apart by throwing the ball, particularly in the second half, to the running backs. 2nd and 5. Now they give it to Richard. Ahead to the 41. 3rd and 2. Can they finally convert a 3rd down? Well, in that game in Mexico City, the Raiders running backs caught 11 passes for 199 yards, the most yards receiving by a running back group in a game in the NFL this year. Today just 2 catches for the backs for 17.
3rd down is short. Great time to take a shot. This is a predictable man-to-man situation. Holmes is at the bottom of the screen. Cooper at the top.
Connor Cook. Look out! Merciless has him and swings him down. Back at the 45-yard line.
Nobody talks about Merciless, but they will be. This man has been a wrecking machine. He's taken it to Austin Howard big time. And we're going to take a shot to Holmes down the left side, but Cook has no chance. 2 sacks for Merciless. He and Clowney are punishing the Raiders.
Merciless had 3 sacks in that playoff loss to Kansas City here last year. 10-yard loss for Oakland on the play. 5 tackles for Merciless. 3 of them have gone for a loss. Hart kick King. And a fair catch made by Tyler Irvin at the 11-yard line. Well, the way it's gone, perhaps 20 points will be enough for Houston today, as Oakland can't get anything started with Cook at quarterback and a shaky line. Walter Payton NFL Man of the Year award presented by Nationwide recognizes NFL players who've made a significant impact on both the game and in their communities. This year's nominees from these two teams: Brian Cushing of the Houston Texans and Dan Williams of the Oakland Raiders. 3 finalists will be announced during the NFC Championship game on January 22nd. The winner will be introduced at the NFL Honors Awards show February 4th at 8 p.m. Eastern Time on Fox. Congratulations to those two gentlemen. We'd read you their resumes of what they're doing in the community, but it would take the rest of the game.
Oh boy.
Osweiler trying to get it to Hopkins, and he was smothered by Sean Smith. We have Lisa's microphone working now. Hello there, Lisa.
Hello, Sean. Well, I asked Bill O'Brien at halftime what's been working for Brock Osweiler so far, and he said he's in a rhythm. When we go no huddle, we're getting into a tempo. Guys are getting open for him. But he said the big thing with Osweiler, like with any quarterback, is starting off the drive well. When you do that, you have a better chance for success. Sean?
Well, the second half has not started dramatically for the offense, and they're playing it very conservatively with the poor field position and the 13-point lead. It almost looks like they just don't want to make the critical mistake that might turn the game back around.
Well, that's what happens when you play conservative. You have a lead. The other team is trying to get the ball back. They're not playing conservative. They're playing aggressive, and P.J. Carey comes off the corner, and be very careful now if you're the Texans backed up on 3rd and 11.
20 points for Houston. They haven't scored more than 24 in any of their last 10 games. Osweiler, deep throw intended for Will Fuller, and the speedy rookie out of Notre Dame could not run under it. And another 3 and out here in the 3rd quarter for Houston.
Credit the Oakland defense. 2 critical stops, and here's Richard, who once again can set up the Raiders with great field position. He has had a couple nice returns. I'd be careful if I were Shane Leckler. Do not give this man a good look.
Here comes pressure off the corner. Leckler got it off, and a good one. Richard back to the 34, and good coverage. They know they need to get on Jalen Richard. Brian Peters leading the coverage for Houston. Well, you get the sense one Oakland touchdown here would really turn up the heat on this Houston offense and make them try to do something when they get the ball back. 56-yard punt there for Leckler and a return of 4. Well, consistency sometimes is a good thing, not necessarily what you want to see on your drive chart.
Well, the best thing they did offensively was when they jumped into no-huddle offense, and Hudson is returned at center. Their Pro Bowl man in the pivot. Where is Amari Cooper? They need him now.
Hudson had x-rays on his ankle. Murray, well, they said, when we asked them, well, why do you think you're going to be able to run the ball this time when you couldn't against Houston in Mexico City in mid-November? They said, well, we're going to spread them out more. We're going to play a little bit smaller and try to create some space for our running game. That hasn't worked.
Well, they're outnumbering them. It doesn't matter what personnel grouping. There's Bill Musgrave, the offensive coordinator. They're going to have to throw the ball against these loaded boxes.
Pushing crowded the line of scrimmage with McKinney. Then they backed away, and the pass thrown by Cook over the head of Michael Crabtree. Here's Adam Schefter.
Well, Sean, Rodney Hudson came out from the locker room after undergoing x-rays, came promptly to the Raiders bench, and removed John Feliciano from the line of Raiders offensive linemen sitting there. You see him going through the drills, now back in the game. The bad news for the Raiders is linebacker Malcolm Smith has left with a hamstring injury. He's questionable to return.
Got to hurry up if you're Connor Cook. You're way too long in the huddle, and against this mysterious Texan defense, your linemen need time at the line.
Raiders are 0 for 9 on 3rd down and running out of time on the play clock. 1 second. Apparently they got it off. Cook lofts one, and Cooper couldn't catch it with A.J. Boye covering.
These Raider receivers dropped too many passes. Cooper's got to make a play. Somebody's got to pick this team up. And Amari Cooper, I think, should make that catch on the sideline for a huge first down.
Yep, right off his hands.
Saw Crabtree drop one early, and now it's Cooper. Another 3 and out.
For the 5th time in their last 6 possessions. Marquette King. Might be getting a little leg weary. That one was not characteristic of his talents. Going to mark it at the 22-yard line. See your favorite NFL players show off their impressive talents and strength, speed, and more in an epic event unlike anything you've seen. Tune into the new Pro Bowl Skills Showdown on Thursday, January 26th at 7 Eastern Time on ESPN. The Pro Bowl Sunday, January 29th at 8, presented by Aquafina. 1st and 10, Houston from the 22. Brock Osweiler dodged the rush and threw a sinker, incomplete, in the direction of Akeem Hunt.
That's a throw you'd like to see Osweiler make. Flag down. Going to be holding against the Raiders secondary, but Osweiler is going to scramble to his right. Hunt comes back at him. Got to make that throw for an easy first down. But holding on the Raiders gives Houston a new set of downs.
David Amerson called for the hold. First down of the half for Houston. Lamar Miller ahead for 7 to the 34-yard line. George Godsey, 38-year-old offensive coordinator, was a fine quarterback at Georgia Tech. Bill O'Brien was an assistant on that staff. George O'Leary was the head coach. George Godsey and Bill O'Brien were together in New England. Miller again. And coach, was interesting talking to Bill O'Brien on Thursday. He was the offensive coordinator for part of his 5 years as an assistant under Bill Belichick. So that was kind of easy when you think back. You're the offensive coordinator for Tom Brady. You'd call a play. He said, I used to close my eyes in the home games and just listen for the crowd to roar, knowing we had a first down or a touchdown. He said, with this offense this year, you're just hoping for anything that might gain 3 or 4 yards.
Well, we've seen a little improvement today, Sean, and this is a big third down for the Texans. They love to milk this clock.
They bring in a big offensive lineman. Kendall Lamb in there as the 6th offensive lineman. Good effort by Jay Prosh. He got hit behind the line of scrimmage, but lunged forward for what looks to be a first down. Perry Riley made the tackle. Bill O'Brien looking at the spot. They felt like they got a couple of really bad spots late in the game in Mexico City against the Raiders, but he got just enough of the mark there for the first down to keep this possession going.
Watch Osweiler. He's in it. Check with me. He's either going to run the ball left or right based on the alignment of the Raiders.
Again, a formation that would suggest a run. They're going to keep trying to pound it with Lamar Miller, and he's across the 40-yard line. Well, clearly Bill O'Brien, a bright offensive mind. I think most people who follow football closely would agree with that, but just goes to show you, you can X and O all you want, but if you really don't have the talent that can do it, it's a grind, a Gruden grinder when you're trying to coach up some first downs.
Hey, it's hard to call plays. There were times when I was coaching that you're calling plays for touchdowns, and then some days you're calling them to get first downs, and then with certain groups you're just trying not to turn the ball over. But I credit Bill O'Brien as much as any coach in this league for winning back-to-back division championships. I was here last year. He won a division title with 4 different starters winning a game for him at quarterback. And this year he's held it together. They lose J.J. Watt. I hear all the negativity about their pass offense, their red zone offense, their lack of scoring. But here he is again, and they're knocking on the door of round 2 of the playoffs. It's a credit to the coaching job that he and his staff have done.
Steady dose of Lamar Miller now. 3rd down and 4. They are killing some time. Jonathan Grimes comes in at running back. The 3 straight winning seasons under O'Brien. It's the first time in Texans franchise history, 15 years, they've had 3 winning seasons in a row. Short throw, and Fuller, a huge tackle made by Sean Smith. If Fuller got away, he had another clock-killing first down.
You got to be able to cover, but you also have to be able to get people down. And Sean Smith saved the day there on that crossing route. Fuller crosses the formation. Smith did an excellent job sifting through traffic and just short of the first down. Here's Leckler.
40-year-old punter, fourth oldest player in the league. The other three older all place kickers. DJ Carey, and the punt well covered by Don Jones, special teams standout, their leading special teams tackler for the year. Over 5 seconds of hang time on that kick for 45 yards by Leckler. Connor Cook still at quarterback. We spoke with Bill Musgrave, the offensive coordinator for Oakland yesterday. He said he was encouraged by the fact that Matt McGloin would dress and could play should Cook struggle. Well, he struggled. They have just 76 yards of offense, but he's still out there with his team down by 13 late in the quarter. They try to get something going with Cooper on the run and nothing doing, no gain.
Well, here's why he's hurt, Sean. Watch Osemele get beat by Shaquille Barrett. How about that hit? And then shortly after that, Hudson and Osemele, they failed to switch a stunt, and that was the end of McGloin. And it's hard to watch Derek Carr go down on Christmas Eve and your backup quarterback, who really understands this offense, go down the following week. And the Raiders need some sophisticated execution, and I got a feeling McGloin's the only guy with any sophistication in this offense.
That start last week was the 7th of his career, but the first since his rookie season. Derek Carr had started every game of his 3 years in the NFL. The record better every year, 12-3 with him in there this year. The great touchdown to interception ratio, a team record passing total in the overtime win at Tampa Bay midseason, and clutch time and time again with 5 game-winning touchdown drives in the fourth quarter or overtime. Single season NFL record. 2nd and 10. Kareem Jackson was shaken up on the last play for Houston, but he's out and Robert Nelson is in. DeAndre Washington, the ball carrier, and he has just the 7th first down of the game for Oakland, their 2nd here in the second half.
He's come storming off that right side behind Gabe Jackson. Once again, good to see Hudson on that pole. Anytime you can pull a 300-pound center, that's a luxury, and it's good to see Hudson come back after that injury.
14-yard gain. DeAndre Washington taken down by Andre Hal. Loss on the play of a yard.
Feel bad for Bill Musgrave, the offensive coordinator of the Raiders. He's done a great job. They've scored 30 points or more 8 times. You can get into all the stats you want, but they don't have Derek Carr. They're missing their Pro Bowl left tackle, and they're seeing the #1 defense. There's just too much offense they cannot access. There's way too many plays that this young man has never even executed.
And it's a shame because you really got the sense that with Carr, they were a legitimate Super Bowl contender. You wonder if they believe, the Raiders, that they still are without Carr. There's a drop on a ball that Cook threw right into the lap of DeAndre Washington, the rookie out of Texas Tech with a homecoming today. He's from Missouri City, Texas.
They used to call me Chucky when I coached the Raiders because I used to become a comical person when we drop passes. I could not stand drop passes, and the Raiders have had 3 tonight, and pretty soon Jack Del Rio will look like Chucky if he sees any more of that.
Oakland is 0 for 10 on 3rd down. This is 3rd and 10. Well blocked this time. Cook throws, and a leaping grab made by Crabtree. There's a flag down on the play. It looks like the mark is just enough for the first down. So let's see what the penalty is. They're clapping on the Houston sideline. They think it's going against Oakland.
Pass interference. Offense number 15. 10-yard penalty. Replay 3rd down.
Well, it's A.J. Boye working against Crabtree. An isolation comeback. You see Crabtree push off with the right arm. You cannot extend your arms at the top of a route. And the Raiders have been the most penalized team in football this year. Jack Del Rio does not like it.
No, he thinks some of it's just the history. 18 times over the years they've been the most penalized team in the league, and he said sometimes he just thinks the officials go out there thinking they're going to commit penalties and ready to throw flags against them. But that was clearly a foul. against Crabtree. 3rd and 21. He just throws it into the ground with the flag on the ground that Cook clearly had seen.
Before the snap, false start. Offense, number 15. 5-yard penalty, 3rd down.
The Raiders this year led the league in penalties and penalty yards. And they were penalized 93 times for 831 yards in road games. That's the highest total of penalties and penalty yards in road games in the history of the National Football League. So yeah, Jack Del Rio probably gets a little tired of seeing the flags on the ground, particularly away from home. They set the league record with 23 penalties in their overtime win at Tampa Bay this year. 3rd and 26, and Seth Roberts couldn't catch it.
Well, it's drop passes and bad throws, and Oakland 0 for 10 on 3rd down. I don't think they have any chance without making a change unless McGloin is just seriously injured. They cannot convert on 3rd down.
10th punt for Marquette King. The NFL playoff record for most punts in a regulation game is 11. Done 5 times. King's on the ground, and there is a flag thrown for the contact with the punter. Here's Tyler Irvin bringing it back to the house, but it isn't going to matter. They ran into King.
I believe it was Whitney Merciless who roughed Marquette King. Bill O'Brien can't believe it.
Running into the kicker. Defense, number 59, 5-yard penalty. Replay, 4th down.
That would have clinched it. Fortunately for Houston, it's still going to force the Raiders into a punting situation. But here's Irvin, the man we saw earlier in the season. This is an interesting player with a unique college background, has a history of returning kicks, and he's just a youngster.
It looked like Jack Del Rio was arguing about whether it should have been a 15-yard penalty for roughing the kicker. Jerry Austin's here. What do you think, Jerry?
This is a 5-yard penalty. He runs into the extended leg. Now, if you'd have hit the plant leg or gone through the body, then it would have been 15.
So King punts. Irvin muffed the punt, and it winds up in the hands of Eddie Pleasant. Boy, Houston catches a big break there, and Oakland almost got the big break it desperately needed.
Bill O'Brien says we need a new punt returner. That is one of the luckier plays you'll ever see. It bounces right off his head.
Well, he went from bringing one back for a touchdown to almost being an enormous goat. And Bill O'Brien grabbed his headset, probably said, this game cannot end fast enough. And there's still the entire 4th quarter to go. They are really sitting on the lead now. Trying to calm down the rookie out of San Jose State. And they brought in the 4th round largely because of his prowess as a kickoff and punt returner for the San Jose State Spartans. Jonathan Grimes is the running back on 1st and 10 Houston. Texans from their own 47 with 17 seconds to go in the 3rd quarter and leading 20-7. Osweiler throws it away. Well, their last drive, they held it for 4 minutes before they had to give it back to Oakland.
It's about all the offense we've seen.
That's it,
in
just
the
still the clock.
Here's Danico Autry checking in for the Raiders, and 2nd down and 10, great field position. When Houston did get it going, it was number 10, DeAndre Hopkins. Here he is in the slot working against DJ Carey at the bottom of the screen.
Grimes through the defense delivers a blow at the end of the run. Mack made the tackle, but not in his usual spot near or behind the line of scrimmage. Well downfield. 1st down at the 41-yard line. after an 11-yard game. We go to the fourth quarter in this wild card playoff game with Houston on top. Monday night at 8 Eastern, the college football playoff national championship game. Clemson battles Alabama at Raymond James Stadium, or as John Gruden calls it, the house that John Gruden built.
Yeah, right.
In Tampa. A game streaming live on the ESPN app, and watch ESPN. Will you be attending that?
I think I will. I wouldn't miss a game like that.
Lamar Miller on 1st and 10 for Houston. Got a yard. You give Clemson a chance of knocking off Alabama?
I'm picking Clemson in that game. I like what they did to Ohio State. And Alabama, they are what they are. They're a machine. But I do like Deshaun Watson. Rematch of last year's game. It'll be a fun one.
Yeah, it was a terrific game in Arizona last year, won by Alabama 45-40. Hard to imagine a high-scoring game with the way the defenses have played for those two teams this year. Osweiler on 2nd and 9. On target, Will Fuller. Out of bounds, 21-yard line.
Give Dwayne Brown credit. Khalil Mack in a one-on-one situation. He was ready for the power rush, and he anchored down. That's as good as it gets. Brown had a serious injury, pectoral injury. He missed the first 4 games. He's just rounded into form. That's great work.
Miller, the ball carrier. And Dwayne Brown, a leader of this team. He's the longest tenured Texan. 132 career starts. Only Andre Johnson started more games for Houston. 3 times a Pro Bowler.
And those 4 linemen he's out there with right now, I don't remember any of them last year. Boucher, Mance, Allen, and Clark. 4 newcomers and the veteran Brown.
That was a serious injury, too. He tore the quad right off the bone. Thrown to the end zone. Little hand fighting there with Hopkins and Emerson. And is there a flag now? Emerson seems to be protesting. We don't see the flag on the ground.
We're going to call this against Emerson. It'll be 1st and goal at the 1. I didn't like this call.
Pass interference. Defense, number 29. That foul occurred in the end zone. The ball will be spotted at the 1-yard line. Automatic first down.
I see hands on hands there, but
is that the old Raider you coming out, or is
I guess 1st and goal at the 1.
Looked like he had a mitt full of the jersey for a little bit.
You show film at that speed, it's going to be PI every time. If you see it at that slow motion. 1st and goal at the 1. 260-pound Jay Prosh at fullback.
17-yard penalty. Miller, a little late polish as he went to the ground. Stacy McGee in on the tackle. I mean, this situation isn't the worst thing if you're George Godsey and Bill O'Brien to score on 2nd or 3rd down. Take a little more time off the clock.
Yes, indeed. That's the only enemy. And I stood next to Jay Prosh on the practice field Friday. I think he's the strongest man on the Texans. He looks exactly like you want your fullback to look.
Nope, these teams play with a fullback. He's 255 pounds. Play fake to Miller. Griffin trying to run to the corner. Osweiler trying to run to the end zone. Touchdown, Houston.
That's a great call by George Godsey, Bill O'Brien. A predictable running situation. They run the goal line boot. And Osweiler has the option to throw it or run it. And Brock Osweiler has played mistake-free football, and he has the Texans on the brink of round 2.
Well, it's their 3rd offensive touchdown of the game. They scored only 3 offensive touchdowns in 1 game this season against the Colts. And so many of the numbers that haunted them during the regular season are being put aside today. 53 yards in 7 plays, and perhaps the ticket punch to the next round for Osweiler and the Texans. ESPN's NFL Wildcard brought to you by Nationwide. Nationwide is on your side. And by NFLshop.com. Get free shipping on orders today at the official store of the NFL. Super Bowl coming to Houston for the 3rd time. Super Bowl 8 at Rice Stadium, won by the Dolphins. Super Bowl 38 at Reliance Stadium. This stadium, now known as NRG Stadium. Adam Vinatieri picked the game-winning field goal with 4 seconds to play to give the Patriots a 3-point win over the Panthers. They're ticking down the time 4 weeks from tomorrow for Super Bowl 51 here. Jalen Richard down the kickoff.
Excuse me, Sean. There's an expatriate himself, Romeo Crennel. Look at all those Super Bowl champions he has as an assistant. 5 rings. And there's another coach on this staff I think's a rising star in this business, Mike Vrabel, their linebackers coach. I watched him carefully on the practice field yesterday, 2 days ago, and his players sing his praises quite often. He has a lot to do with the #1 ranked Texan defense.
Mike, primarily a defensive player, but they lined him up on offense, and he caught a touchdown pass in that Super Bowl win here. Incomplete pass thrown by Connor Cook. A.J. Boye, another breakup. It's intended for Cooper, who's done very little today. Here's Adam Schefter.
Thanks, Sean. The big blows keep coming to the Oakland Raiders. Michael Crabtree is not in the game right now, and the NFL's independent evaluator for concussions is escorting Michael Crabtree to the locker room right now.
Only 2 1,000-yard receivers in the regular year, Crabtree and Cooper. Crabtree 2 catches for 33 yards and a drop, and the penalty not long ago. Cooper has 1 catch for 1 yard. Cook hoping for something good, and it's broken up. Intended for Cooper. Jonathan Joseph had the coverage.
You know, Sean, I don't care how good your receivers are. The Texans are really good at corner. Joseph, an 11-year veteran, 26 career interceptions. He welcomes the targets. And on the other side, you have Kareem Jackson, another first-rounder. Joseph, Jackson have played together for 6 seasons, and the emerging star A.J. Boye at the top of the screen. He'll be highly paid next year. I'd like to be his agent.
A lot like Josh Norman. A lot of people never heard of his first few years. Then he had the big year last year for Carolina and got the big deal. And Boye's career mirroring Norman's in many ways. Michael Rivera, the tight end, with the catch, and it looks like with the spot it's a first down for the 4th-year tight end out of Tennessee. He's probably not even the most famous member of his family, even though he plays in the NFL. His sister, Naya, singer and actress, starred as Santana on the very popular show in the Gruden household, I know, Glee. Which is what you spread wherever you go. How about that play? Batted away, intended for Roberts, and it's Robert Nelson, a backup 2nd-year corner out of Arizona State, making a big play.
It's what they do. They have talented players at all 3 levels. It's a bootleg. Merciless reads it, and under pressure, Cook. Off target again. Just 7 for 25 passing.
Which raises the question, you think they just dressed McGloin for an emergency situation?
Well, he got punished last week. He must really be hurt. Or he'd be out here.
Go if they needed him. Oakland now to exactly 100 yards of offense for the game. They averaged 373 during the regular season, 6th in the league, but most of that with Derek Carr. Richard gets very little, and Houston with this score and clock situation will give him that all day long. Benardrick McKinney made the tackle.
I call it the factor grade, Sean. How do you ruin the game? I used to ask Simeon Rice, Sap, ruin a game. And he doesn't get there all the time, but believe me, Connor Cook has felt number 90's breath on his back all day. 2 years this man battled injuries. People doubted on him. Some quit on him. He took a lot of criticism. He just kept working. He leaned on some of these veteran Texans for leadership, and are they glad they hung with their former #1 overall pick.
And Dwayne Brown practiced opposite him every day. He said he kept telling Clowney, you're going to be a star. Believe in yourself. There's a catch in traffic. Finally, A receiver makes a play for Oakland. Andre Holmes, without Crabtree, the target there, just his 15th catch of the year for a 20-yard gain.
Caught over 45 passes a couple years ago. Holmes needs to find a team where he can be a regular. He's good enough to start.
Well, they're rolling now on 3rd down. That's 2 in a row after they started the game 0 for 11. Janae Olawale, the fullback, he had a huge play as part of their comeback against Houston in Mexico City. A 75-yard touchdown reception early in the 4th quarter to tie that game at 20. Oakland got another score to win 27-20.
And in the no-huddle offense, Connor Cook is on his own, accessing these plays with very little help.
20-yard pass to Holmes was the longest play from scrimmage today for Oakland. Holmes the target again. Another 1st down at the 27-yard line.
A couple impressive throws by Connor Cook. When he gets pass protection, he's able to see the field, throw some strikes. And Holmes has had sure hands. That helps.
Four of his 10 completions for the game have come on this drive. There's another one. Michael Rivera with a flag down. 9.5 minutes to go. If the play stands, it's 1st and goal at the 8.
They're going to call Rivera for a push-off.
Pass interference. Offense, number 81. 10-yard penalty. Replay, 1st down.
Not filling Jack Del Rio with glee.
I'll take a look at it. It's a seam route. It's a back shoulder throw. Does Rivera push off? I don't see that.
Yeah, you see that much on plenty of plays during the typical game doesn't go called. And when you Jack Del Rio and you think you're kind of behind before the game even starts in that area, it's aggravating. 8 penalties for the Raiders today. They're below their average. Good pocket for Cook, and the throw batted away. Nice play in the secondary by Corey Moore, backup safety out of Georgia, intended for Johnny Holton.
Excuse me, Sean. This guy's amazing. Corey Moore. I've seen him start the last 5 games. 2nd-year man. I did not know who he was, but he has replaced Andre Howell as a starter in a lot of their packages, and most of the plays you see Moore make are around the line of scrimmage. That time he showed really good range on the back end.
2nd and 20. Huge offensive pass interference call against Oakland. Richard upended as he got inside the 35. Robert Nelson again.
Do you like the way the Texans tackle? They just don't miss many tackles. Robert Nelson, signed early in the season, been around the league. Romeo Crennel emphasizes it, demands it. Don't dive after people, run through people, and wrap. And Mike Vrabel, Romeo Crennel, what a battery they've been, but they have a very good tackling defense, particularly in the secondary.
11th play of the possession for Oakland. It's taking a lot of time. Clowney in hot pursuit. Cook on the run, incomplete. And now Oakland's going to get a flag on Jonathan Joseph. The ball intended for Andre Holmes, but Oakland's going to get a call going in its favor.
No doubt, when the quarterback scrambles, you have to plaster it to your man.
Defense number 24. The ball will be placed at the spot of the foul. Automatic 1st down.
Quarterback breaks contain. You're going to see Joseph on the left side of your screen. Got to hold that coverage for a long time. Jerry likes that call, Sean. I'll look to Jerry from now on. I wish they'd let these guys play.
We talked to Dean Blandino, the head of officiating the league, early in the week, and he said there's the perception that sometimes in the postseason the officials let them play, quote-unquote, don't throw the flags. They've instructed not to do that. Call it the way they would any game in the regular season. And there's a touchdown to Holmes. Out there because Crabtree is not, and Holmes was a star on Oakland's touchdown drive. Still 8:10 to go, and they were within a couple of touchdowns.
Well, Houston stopped blitzing. They turned down a lot of the volume of their disguises. They played a generic defense, and Connor Cook ripped them. Cook made some excellent throws on that possession.
Holmes
with
at
8 minutes left.
Sorry, Coach.
No, 8 minutes left, Sean. There's a lot of crazier things that have happened.
Holmes had 14 catches in the entire regular season. He had 3 on that drive, including the touchdown. Janikowski the extra point. And there is hope on the Oakland sideline. 27-14, 8:10 to go in Houston. Cook had 6 fourth-quarter comebacks at Michigan State, including some of the biggest games of his career. The Big Ten championship game against Ohio State. Rose Bowl against Stanford, down by 10, won by 4. Cotton Bowl against Baylor, that was huge. They were down by 20 and won 42-41. Big Ten championship game against Iowa, down 13-9. They rallied for a 16-13 win. He's just thrown his first playoff touchdown in the NFL. Second NFL touchdown. He had one in his only regular season game last week against Denver. And now, will it be an onside kick? No. Janikowski with 8:10 to go kicks it away. Tyler Urban. You surprised, Coach, that they didn't opt for an onside kick?
Yes, I am a little bit, for sure. Houston's going to run the football, and Oakland needs a 3-and-out in the worst way here. Once again, Malcolm Smith, Raiders leading tackler, out of the football game. Number 57, Corey James, going to be asked to make some calls and make some plays and get off the field.
4 down, 54.
Only 267 yards of offense for Houston, but they've avoided the turnover. And that's been the key. They haven't turned it over at all today with a conservative game plan and leaning on the defense. And that, of course, is the approach that makes sense for Bill O'Brien, given the makeup of his team. But when you look at, and we talked about, Coach, a lot of these offensive numbers during the season, and -7 in the turnover margin, even with the great defense. Only the Rams, Cleveland, Jacksonville, the Jets, and Chicago were worse in turnover ratio in the league, and they were all among the worst teams in the league. But somehow, at -7, Houston's in the playoffs.
Great defense to offset it.
Here comes pressure from Oakland. And a good tackle by Khalil Mack. Miller started running in the direction from which the blitz came, but Mack filled that void.
What a great play he just made. It's a draw play. You have to be able to read plays and get out of a pass rush, recognize a draw, and run it down. And that's the second time Mack has done it brilliantly. 3rd and long. Mack at the bottom of the screen, Irvin at the top. They have combined for 11 forced fumbles.
10 tackles for Mack today. Will they risk a pass on 3rd down and 9 or keep it conservative and lean again on the defense? Osweiler back to pass. Ball's deflected and incomplete.
You know, for a 6'8" quarterback, I've seen over 20 passes rejected by Brock Osweiler in his short time as a starter, and they're lucky that ball wasn't intercepted. You see 97 Edwards, 96 Autry. I believe that's the 5th ball Autry has rejected, and those tip passes oftentimes result in interceptions.
Over the last 2 seasons, Osweiler has the 8th highest rate of passes being batted down in the league, even at 6'8". There's Don Jones again, the special teams standout, taking down Jalen Richard immediately on the catch. 55-yard punt by Shane Leckler, and excellent coverage by Jones. Well, as you said at the top of the telecast, John, almost not fair for Connor Cook. First career start, first player ever to do that in a playoff game at quarterback. And he has to go up against the #1 defense led by Romeo Crennel. In his 34th season, he's coached in 31 postseason games. Cook on target. It seemed to me like Houston backed off a little bit on that last drive. Almost did Cook and the Raiders a favor. They marched 75 yards in 11 plays.
Try to keep the ball in play and use the clock. Don't take a lot of risks. I agree with you. I'm surprised they don't cut loose some of those speed packages that work so well for him throughout this game. But Connor Cook has found a rhythm and made some very impressive throws in the last 7 minutes.
I'm surprised they won't try to be a little more aggressive and take him out of that rhythm. That was just the second catch of the game for Amari Cooper. Good pocket, on target throw, caught by Walford, the tight end. First down, 37-yard line.
And Cook in a no-huddle offense. Look at him signaling the formation. Get everybody the play, and Rodney Hudson, the center, will set the protection, and off they go.
There's not lacking in confidence. Fourth-round pick in this year's draft. The seventh quarterback selected in the draft. That's a wobbly throw, but a good catch. And all of a sudden, they're making plays for him. Maybe one of the best things that happened for Oakland was Crabtree going out, because Holmes has been a lot better than Crabtree in this game.
Well, Holmes was Derek Carr's favorite receiver long before Crabtree and Amari Cooper put on a Raider helmet, and Holmes has been a difference maker.
Under 5 minutes to go, but you can sense a little uneasiness now in the crowd. And Cook gets away and then threw it away in the direction of Latavius Murray. Jadeveon Clowney was right there after Cook again.
Can't believe that he failed to get that sack. He has worked Menelik Watson all day. He's got to make that sack, and he knows it. Fourth quarter pass rush. This is a characteristic of all the world champion teams. You get a team down, you're at home, it's all at stake, all the marbles, all the chips are on the table. Close them out with your pass rush and don't waste much time.
We are told that Crabtree will not return for Oakland. Cook, a lot of time to throw, incomplete. Looking for Cooper with Jonathan Joseph in coverage. Cooper's numbers dropped way off in the second half of the season. He said it was because of the coverage tilted more toward him and other playmakers emerging, but he's really nowhere near as much of a factor as he was in the first half of the year.
No, he is not, and Jonathan Joseph ran that route for Cooper. Third down and 10.
And you'd think in 4-down territory here, down by 13, under 5 minutes to go. Five-man rush. Cook has time. High throw, and it's intercepted. Corey Moore runs it back. It was intended for Cooper.
Got to hit that. The stunt, it's a blitz, it's man-to-man coverage. And Cook had Cooper open in the middle of the field. Tipped, intercepted, and that should be the final dagger.
First career interception for Moore. Sports Center coming up next on ESPN. The GMC postgame highlights and analysis from here in Houston, and coverage of the college football championship game from Tampa, Clemson and Alabama. Monday night, 8 o'clock on ESPN and ESPN Radio. First and 10, Houston.
Boy, that's a bad penalty in the 4-minute drill. The only enemy is the clock.
Offense number 65, 5-yard penalty, first down.
Greg Mann's the center. You're trying to run the ball to the right or to the left. You're going to run the ball away from where all the Raiders are, and that time Mann's guilty of the false start. But this is an area you do not want to commit penalties.
Lamar Miller. Corey James in on the tackle. Rookie out of Colorado State. If you're Jack Del Rio, would you start thinking about your timeouts now?
Absolutely. You've got 3 left and the 2-minute drill, and a little surprised he's letting this much time run off, because Houston's going to use every second on the clock. And if I'm Brock Osweiler, I'm not going to snap this ball until there's 2 or 3 seconds left.
You're right, they snap it with 10. Doing Oakland a favor. Miller weaves his way to the 47. Reggie Nelson.
There's a timeout.
Yep. With 3:50 to go. Well, the coaches talked about don't turn it over. It was Oakland that had been great all year, plus 16 in turnover margin. Bill O'Brien's team -7. But Osweiler under a lot of pressure today. Solid performance, and the most important thing for Houston, no turnovers.
No turnovers, and we won a Super Bowl with the #1 defense. Our offense got hot. Brad Johnson played great, took care of the ball.
Well, that's what I want to ask you about this Houston team, and it's not in the win column here yet, but assuming they go on and win, is the defense, #1 in the league, good enough to be like Denver last year, overcome the shaky play by the Bronco offense, win the Super Bowl? The Ravens back in 2000, is it that kind of a defense?
Well, it is, but you're going to have to play complementary football. You know that, Sean. You're not going to play a third-string rookie quarterback next week, that's for sure.
Well, they win. It's quite possible they'll be heading to New England.
What a run by
Jonathan Grimes, first down. That's another step toward the next round. And if they win, they'll go to either Kansas City or New England. If Pittsburgh beats Miami, Bill O'Brien will go back to Foxborough, where they were shut out earlier in the year by the Patriots.
Those are two big third-down runs by Grimes. And the Raiders going to let this clock run. Osweiler's got to let this clock wind down. Don't snap it early.
Grimes doesn't play much, but he's had some big runs. 12 yards, 10 yards. Lamar Miller. That's 30 carries for Miller. He came here in part because he wanted more. He averaged about 12 carries a game in Miami. He's over 20 this year, and he's at 30 today. Timeout Oakland.
They have these walkie-talkies now that the coach can talk to the quarterback. I can say, hey, Sean, let's go green right 93 week. This time I'm going to say, hey, Sean, let the clock run all the way down to 2 seconds. You're snapping it too early. Don't take anything for granted in the playoffs. These men are playing for, I think, $27,000 bonuses. That's a lot of money for these coaches, players, and all the people involved.
And on the other side, John, I know it's hard to get into the minds of players and coaches, but do you think a lot of the fight and belief went out of Oakland when Derek Carr got hurt? They were very poor last week against Denver with a chance to win the division and get a bye, and they haven't been terrific today. Obviously, Carr is a great player.
No doubt.
Bruce Irvin thought they were flat last week in Denver with a chance to win the division. Although Ken Norton, the coordinator, thought they perhaps wanted too much and tried to do things they weren't capable of doing. But certainly these two games haven't resembled the Oakland team that was so good for so much of the year.
No, and that's why I credit Bill O'Brien and the Texans so much. They lost a dynamic, great player themselves. You lose J.J. Watt, the defensive MVP of the league, 3 times. This man goes down on a Thursday night in Foxborough. He doesn't come back. And they went into every man on this team and they said, we all have to pick it up. Watt is not coming back. And did they ever? They're the #1 defense in pro football. McKinney, Clowney, A.J. Boye, the veteran Will Fork have really stepped up their game. You have to credit their mental toughness as a football team.
Oakland out of timeouts now. They will have the 2-minute warning in 59 seconds. Third down and 8. Grimes again breaking tackles. Comes up short of the line to make. They will have to snap it again before the 2-minute warning, and now Bill O'Brien has a decision to make. You try to pick up the first down or you punt it down into the corner. It would be a long field goal try from here of about 52 yards.
Well, with a veteran Leckler, I'm going to count on him to punt this ball out of bounds and make the rookie quarterback go the length.
I think they're going to let the clock run all the way down and use one of their timeouts, and then Bill O'Brien have a little more time to think about what he wants to do.
Use a hard count, try to lure the Raiders off sides. That's always a common play in this situation. Bill O'Brien has all the specials for this situation, I'm sure.
They decided not to use the timeout. They took the flag and actually just make it perhaps a little easier for Leckler with a little extra room there to pin them deep. So it's quite possible, as we said, that the Texans could be heading back to Foxborough for a game against Bill O'Brien's old team, the Patriots, back in his native Massachusetts. But The Dolphins and the Steelers still to be heard from. If the Steelers win at home against Miami, Houston would go to New England. Leckler, fair catch made by Richard. As usual, Shane Leckler does his job, and Oakland will take over at the 7-yard line with 2:06 to go. No timeouts.
Going to get one play off before the 2-minute drill. I expect to see Houston rush 4. Keep the ball in play, and that would be interesting. The Houston Texans, O'Brien, Crennel, Vrabel, those ex-Patriots going to Foxborough. This #1 defense against Tom Brady, I'd love to see it.
Well, Miami could do something to interrupt that homecoming. Cook out of the end zone. Seth Roberts couldn't get away. But Robert Nelson's been excellent since Kareem Jackson got hurt, and there's the 2-minute warning. Terrific season for Oakland, back in the playoffs for the first time in 14 years. Perhaps it's about to end. Houston leading 27-14 to the 2-minute warning. 1:59 to go here in Houston at NRG Stadium. Oakland's ball, 1st and 10. Raiders from their own 8-yard line. Connor Cook 15 for 37 for 140 yards, a touchdown and 2 interceptions. Michael Rivera.
Boy, they converge on the ball. They're playing zone coverage, forcing Cook to check it down and keep the clock rolling.
Right now, I think of the words of our friend and colleague Chris Berman. He's stepping away from a lot of our NFL coverage at the end of this year. Tick, 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 tick. Cook. Well, tough circumstances, you called it, mission impossible, it seemed, when the game started. For Cook, they traded up in the 4th round to get him because they thought Dallas was going to take him early in the 4th round.
Well, they wanted to redshirt him. I mean, they really did. They wanted to redshirt this kid. They had no intention whatsoever of playing him, and Derek Carr gets hurt on Christmas Eve, of all things, and he gets thrust into action. This is really difficult, I'm sure, for all the Raider fans, and you have to give the kid credit, though. He did hang in there under some dire circumstances.
And if Dallas did want Connor Cook, it worked out fine for them. They wound up picking Dak Prescott later in that 4th round. We all know the year he's had for the Cowboys, the #1 seed in the NFC. Another catch for Michael Rivera.
This game reminds me of when I coached the Raiders, Sean. We played the Ravens in the AFC Championship game. They were the #1 defense. Gannon got hurt, our starting quarterback, and our backup, Bobby Hoying, really had no chance because he had no reps. And it's hard to perform in this league, especially when you don't practice. You got to go play the #1 defense in the land.
I know you've talked about it a lot, the CBA, which limits the practice time. You know, Connor Cook, some of the offensive linemen told us yesterday they had never heard him call a play in the huddle because they haven't practiced with him.
Yeah, he's not even taking scout team reps because Matt McGloin takes all of those.
Juggled and dropped by Michael Rivera. Yeah, because of the limits on practice, Derek Carr likes to take all of the snaps with the first team on offense, so that means McGloin goes over to the scout team to get a few reps over there. So that means Cook doesn't get anything with the scout team. That would ordinarily be his job. And I think you also see the lack of playing time factors in, practice time factors in with continuity in the offensive line. It's already rare when you see a good offensive line these days without the injuries, and then you see injuries and it's a total mess. Oakland undone today largely by the inability of Donald Penn to play and help out against this Houston defense. You feel for him. Saw his tweet last night. He was in tears when he found out yesterday, when he couldn't really go through their walkthrough, that he wasn't going to be able to play.
I really feel bad for McGloin. He's the guy that is paid to play in this type of situation. He's the backup, and he's got to be sick. The Scranton Scrapper, that man is a grinder, and He had no chance to do anything for the Raiders this year because of injury.
Even though it's going to be a disappointing finish to this season for Oakland, back in the playoffs after 13 years out. And they've totally turned this organization around. Just a few years ago, as he said, it was a bad roster with bad contracts, salary cap problems all over the place. Reggie McKenzie and Mark Davis done a great job with the roster. They hired a coach who's from the Oakland area, from nearby Hayward, California, who seems to have fit in very nicely. And a lot of terrific players coming back. They stay healthy next year, particularly Derek Carr. You got to like their chances of being a factor.
Yes, they hit the lottery in 2014. Mack and Carr, and it's great to see the silver and black back in the postseason.
They've drafted well. They've done a great job in free agency, and Cook throws an interception. A.J. Boye with a bow.
That's my Boye. The Gruden grinder is going to be a rich man. You said it. He's a lot like Josh Norman was last year of the Carolina Panthers. He has really come into his own. Let's hope Whitney Mercilus, their great pass rusher, is okay. But Boye read this the whole way. And most importantly, how is Whitney Mercilus?
Well, that would be huge. In the last 15 seconds of the win, if they were to lose him. Well, that's good news. Bill O'Brien can breathe a sigh of relief. Mercilus up and gives the thumbs up. Apparently he's okay.
There he is on an inside move, and
so that's scary.
I don't like the way that looks at all.
No, he got rolled up on, but apparently he's fine. Walked off, and all smiles at J.J. Watt.
The Mercilus. Isn't he an interesting guy? He's got his own chef that cooks for him. You got to think about that. I mean, you could afford it. Get yourself your own chef. What a pro he is.
Yeah, he's very careful about his diet. It's one of the reasons why he's one of the best defensive players in the league. More and more people hearing about him. Well, Bill O'Brien suffered through a 30-0 loss in this game a year ago, the wild card game at home against Kansas City. Much different turn of events today. Jack Del Rio shorthanded, and Oakland season ends with a disappointment. And for Houston, it's on the next weekend. And the dream of being the first team to play in a Super Bowl in their home stadium still alive for the Texans. They'll head to either Kansas City or New England next weekend. If they go to New England, it was ugly when they were in Foxborough Week 3. They lost 27-0, and it was Jacoby Brissett at quarterback for New England. 27-14 the final. Back in a moment with the Gruden Grinder.
ESPN thanks you for watching this presentation of the National Football League.